Ethan Quant here.
Derek Smith Jr.
Rabina Apia.
Terrell Store.
Nathaniel Butler. To talk about their secrets to success.
You're watching Linked Up on LinkedIn.
Linked Up on LinkedIn.
Linked Up on LinkedIn.
Linked Up on LinkedIn.
Well, welcome to another episode of Linked Up on LinkedIn, and I'm super excited to have my guest for today, a good friend and a colleague from quite some time ago, and to a large degree a mentor, Ethan Quant. And I really have been following not only Ethan's journey, but Ethan's transformation, Ethan's maturation over the last couple of years, and it's really something to watch, something to see how he has grown and changed. Muscle and mentally. And so we're glad to have him on today. Ethan R.L. Quant. How you doing, my brother?
Hey, I'm well, man. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
Yeah, most definitely. So Ethan, one of the things I want to start with is where I would call it your predominant focus now is corporate wellness. And
right.
So let's start the conversation there. Tell me why after you've made this major transformation with your body, and we'll put that photo up there. That was Ethan before. And then look at the Ethan now. And so you see the major transformation between these two Ethans. And so Ethan, not only after he's made that transition in body, he made a major career change as well. When Ethan and I really connected, Ethan was in mortgage brokerage, progressive consumer services.
Yeah, but it's a lifetime ago.
And so a lot has happened. Ethan, give us the short version to that transition from business to where you are now, and mentally and physically to where you are now. So that's three aspects of your life that has seen major transformation.
Right. So when we first connected, Matt, like you said, I was in mortgage brokerage, and I really went into that business. It was never my goal to be the world's best mortgage broker. I really wanted to be an entrepreneur, and leaving the bank, it was the easiest thing for me to transition into because I was very well at it. I was very good at what I did, helping people secure mortgages. And so that's what I did. However, during that time, in my personal life, it was kind of a dark period for me late after starting that. And so I got to a point where I had a decision to make. I wasn't happy with my then relationship. I wasn't happy with what I was doing every day. And I saw a picture of myself from a friend's wedding when I was 306 pounds. And I looked at that and I instantly became depressed and disgusted because I did not know that I was that big. And so that was like my aha moment. And right then and there, I decided, you know what, I'm going to get a six-pack. I didn't know how I was going to get it. I didn't know where I was going to get it from. But that was just it. I didn't have any insight as to how this was going to be achieved, but I just knew I was going to do it. And so I went on Google and I typed in how to get a six-pack fast. And literally so many things came up. And I tried pretty much all of them. Every fad diet out there I tried. And I had some mild successes. I dropped about 60 pounds. And then what happened was that I stopped doing the fad diet and I started reverting back to my old ways. And so that's when I realized that after a couple of months, I blown back up to about 292 pounds. And that's when I realized that if I really want to transform my body, I have to transform my life. I have to make it a lifestyle. And so that's when I started doing things the right way, where I said, okay, well, what is it that fit people do every day? And I started doing that every day until eventually, so I had to have that shift in my mindset first, that I wasn't somebody that was overweight or obese trying to lose weight, that I was already a fit person. So I had that fit person's mindset. And then eventually my body had to catch up, right? And so that's what happened. And I had my transformation. I mean, I just had I just felt so much better. I felt better about myself. I was more confident. I was more productive. I was a beast. I was always good at business, but now you have this mind that's in this new body, and I just turned into an absolute beast, man. And so, I said, this feels great. How can I do this every day and get paid for it? And so what I did was I came up with a business model that would enable me to, one, continue to work out and do the things that led to my physical transformation, but also give me an opportunity to work with people to help them realize this awesome experience as well. Because I do believe that if you can show people that they have the power to transform their body, you can easily convince them that they also have the power to transform their lives. And so, back in 2013, when I dissolved the brokerage, I went into fitness full time, man. And, I was working with clients, I was doing fitness programming. And then I said, you know what? I want to make a larger impact. Working on individual clients is good, and I was having some solid successes. But I realized that in that there was still a missing part of that, because I would do the programs. I say, yeah, this is your program, this is your meal plan, this is your workout, and people would do it, but they would only do it for that duration. So whether it was a 8-week program, a 12-week program, and the same thing that I struggled with, the minute they stopped the program, even though it was a solid program, they went back. And that's when I realized that we weren't addressing the underlying behavioral issues that led to unhealthy lifestyles. And so once I did that, I said, you know what, let me start looking into coaching. And so that's when I decided that I would become a health and lifestyle coach, so that we can really make this thing stick, so that my clients can now have sustainable results. And so coupled with this new realization that, okay, well, we have to address the underlying behavioral issues, I also went back and I said, where can I have the most impact? Where can I reach the most people? Working one-on-one is great, but when I'm working with one client now that's a company, I have the opportunity to expand my reach and reach all of their employees. And so that was really the mindset behind now refocusing from individual fitness programming to developing employee wellness programming for companies. And the thing is that so many, even from my individual clients, so many people said, you know what, I want to do better, but I work so much, and if you think about it, even if we're working an 8-hour day, that's really 1/3 of our lives that we spend working. The other third we spend sleeping if we're getting 8 hours. And so that's literally 1/3 of our lives that we have left to do family, to do health and fitness, to do relationships, to do spirituality, to do everything else that makes life, right? And so that's really why I decided to make that switch, to help people and help companies really understand that their employees are their greatest asset. And if you treat your employees well, they will treat your customers well. But getting them to understand that employee wellness programming corporate wellness isn't just a nice to have, it's a need to have. And it really should be integrated into the overall business strategy of the company, just like how you would have customer service experiences, or just like how you would have investments in technology to make your systems more efficient. Corporate wellness programming does that, but for employees. And so that was the mindset of making that shift. And that's what we've been doing ever since we repositioned ourselves as an industry leader in corporate wellness back in 2016.
Yeah. Interesting. It's amazing, that journey. So there are a couple of things, number one, just kind of stumbling on, I don't know where it was, I saw this photo, or I think it was the photo the other day, and you must have won. I imagine it must have been either a fitness competition or maybe the Mr. Caribbean win, but you were in tears. You were sobbing, it would appear, and I could see guys behind you, just knowing that feeling. Tell me what those emotions were at that time that made you just lose it.
Boy, Matt, you giving me goosebumps now, just taking me back to that moment. I mean, the reality is that was a win on so many different levels. right? Because, throughout my transformation, I made the decision that I wanted to become a competitive bodybuilder. So now this is me at 306 pounds, not an ab in sight. I say, you know what? I want to become a competitive bodybuilder. And I shared this with some people, and I mean, who didn't laugh in my face, just kind of patted me on my back and say, boy, you crazy. So many people didn't believe that I could. And for a long time, I didn't believe that I could. But I said, you know what? I want to become a competitive bodybuilder. And same thing with my fitness. I said, okay, well, now I have to adopt the habits, the traits, the characteristics of a competitive bodybuilder, and my body is going to catch up. And so, really my first competition back in April 2012, I really didn't have a goal to win. My goal is just not to be the fat guy on stage. Like, I wanted to look like I belonged, right? And so I went on stage. I didn't get last place. I got second to last place. But you know what? I looked like I was supposed to be there. Mm-hmm. And so, shortly after that, I just continued my training. And at some point before that particular competition back in 2014, I said, you know what? I'm good enough. I'm good enough to win. I want to win. I ain't just showing up no more. I come in to win. And I just trained to win. I did everything that I could to do it. And then just to have that moment where, because people in the industry, of course, were following me as well. And so to go from morbidly obese, pre-diabetic, pre-hypertensive, really knocking at death's door, to now becoming the top bodybuilder in the Bahamas. I mean, that was a huge accomplishment. And so when I had that moment where they called my name and I won, it was just really the floodgates open, because I thought about how much work I put in. I thought about how many people doubted me. I thought about how I overcame my own self-doubt and insecurities. And that was just an awesome experience. And so when they called my name and they said, he came from 100, he lost 110 pounds to get here today. Like, I was like, wow, that's the truth. I did that. And so it was just a combination of, I did that. It was a release. It was joy. And yeah, that's what that was. I was really, it was an emotional time, man.
I can imagine. So I want to talk about, while we're on the topic of morbid obesity, and you and I had gotten on before on my podcast, and we had talked about obesity is a disease, and I think that's the way you worded it then. I want to just address that again, because I think it was the first time I've ever heard that. But I want you to address it from both sides. How should someone who is obese and facing depression deal with obesity? How should they look at it? Should they change their mindset about it? But also the people that they're connected with, right? So we think about maybe women that are in relationships and they often have the goal, or the guy maybe mentioning, hey, what you could do. How do both sides now need to change perspective if they do? And so let me know your thoughts there.
Well, the easiest thing and to do from where I'm standing is to put it in the context of lifestyle, right? I mean, we live in a microwave society. The weight loss industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And so these guys have tons of money and they prey on people who are desperate to lose weight. Because once you make that decision that, hey, I want to do something, there's so many options. I mean, from surgery to pills to potions to lotions. And so people are desperate to do that, to lose weight and have the body that they want. So they're willing to do almost anything, right? And I was one of those at one point. But the thing that really makes the difference is once you put it in the context of lifestyle, you automatically relieve yourself of that pressure of having to lose all of the weight now. You see, we want to lose weight fast. We don't just want to lose weight. And I mean, I would have some clients when I was in the fitness, when I was doing individual fitness program, and they would come in and they would be disappointed, man. They'd be like, wow, man, I only lost 10 pounds this month. And I'm like, you know, safely and healthily, the average person can lose between 2 to 5 pounds a week, right? So you lost 10 pounds this month, but this is the first 10 pounds that you've lost in how many years? You know, you have a target of 60 pounds to lose, but really you're talking about if you consistently lose 10 pounds over a 6-month period, that's like nothing, right? And so just getting people to understand that you want to have patience in the process. You want to focus on making those small but challenging changes to your daily routine, and do that over time, and that's really where you're going to win. You know, we try to, because I know I've tried it. You know, I'd say, you know, all right, well, Friday, all right, this is my last weekend. I can do it bad this weekend. So I'll have all of the junk food and stuff like this. And I actually wrote about this in one of my recent articles in the paper. But I would do it bad that weekend. I say, you know what, I start my diet on Monday. And so Monday would come and I would do all of the diet stuff. So I'll have all of my baked chicken and my lettuce and tomatoes and vegetables and fish and all that. And I would be on it. I'll be committed for those 2 days. By Wednesday, man, I was back in the drive-through line getting me some fast food because I couldn't do it. Because what I did was I tried to cut everything out one shot, right? And so my thing is that you want to take your time, just like anything else in life. You want to take your time. If you want to do it right, just take your time, take those small steps, man. So for the person who is obese and they want to change, because that's the main thing too, you have to want to change. Some people are comfortable where they are, and that's okay. You know, people say, oh, well, you know what, having a six-pack ain't for me. I have a life. And I'm not saying that you need to have a six-pack to be healthy, but you can have whatever body that you want. My only question is it healthy? You know, are you healthy? And when we say healthy, now I'm not talking about a six-pack or that you could run a marathon. I'm talking about, by medical standards, are you at a healthy weight, right? And because we know that once we come out of this healthy weight as per medical standards, that increases our risk factors for so many other non-communicable diseases like hypertension, like diabetes, like cardiovascular disease. And all of these things are actually linked to obesity. And so if you are not in the category deemed healthy by medical standards, then I feel as though you should be doing something to get healthy. And so, but once you put it in the context of lifestyle, take your time with it. So that's for that person, right, who wants to change and has made that decision. For those people in that person's life, you want to provide positive reinforcement, man. You can hold a person accountable. I mean, because I know with me, it isn't like when I started my journey back in 2011, that was my first attempt at losing weight. Mm-hmm. I had tried many times, and I would make these grandiose announcements, and I'd be like, that's it, this is it, I'm going straight on, I on it. And then, you know, a couple of days later, you know, I'm back at it, and my boys would tease me. They say, "El Quant, and you was just on diet. What happened? you give up already?" But you do this so many times, what happens is that it fatigues those around you, because they say, oh, well, you know, this is just another one. And so they doubt you, right? But I think it's important for the people around that person to say, hey, you know what? Let me consistently be reinforced. So if this person is consistently going to try and attempt, every time you want to approach that with the same enthusiasm as that person has, you know, because this may be the time, right? And so you want to be a supportive, if you all live in the same house, you want to be supportive and really just say to the person, how can I help you achieve what it is that you're attempting to achieve? How can I add value to your journey? And just be positive with it, you know. And if you see the person slipping up, it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to quote unquote call them out so that they can feel bad, but just remind them and say, hey, you know what, you got this goal, you know, this is something that you're going to do. is this what activity that you're engaging in right now, is it going to help you towards your goal, or is it going to hinder your progress? And if you remind them of that, then 9 times out of 10, they can be like, okay, well, you know what? You're right. Thank you. But you want to be that positive support. You don't want to be the police. You want to be that friend. So if they do fall down, they don't have to hide it from you, because that was something that I used to do too. I used to sit down and eat all of my, fast food in the car, wipe my mouth, spray my cologne, so the people in the house wouldn't be able to call me out and make me feel bad about it, right? But you just want to be a positive source of encouragement and support for the people who are struggling with obesity. And no, they're not lazy. No, they're not. It's not as simple as switching on a light switch. Only 2% of the population could stop a behavior cold turkey. The rest of us, we need time, man. We need time to really get that, well, deprogram and then reprogram the new behavior.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that this is obviously a LinkedIn exclusive, and I think a lot of the demographic will be professionals. There were so many business lessons, so many things you could correlate to your corporate path that were in there, and I'm wondering if people listen to it, maybe the obesity might not be your story, but the business lessons in there can definitely apply to everyone. He talked about patience. He talked about lifestyle changes. He talked about not expecting change overnight. And so these are things that are transferable to your path to corporate success.
Yeah, no, I believe that, and I call it, the success blueprint, right? There's a talk that I give to companies and employees about the success blueprint, right? And this is based on the idea that the principles of success are universal. It doesn't matter what area of your life that you want to be successful in, whether it's health and fitness, whether it's business, whether it's relationships, whether it's being employed as a professional. It doesn't matter. You're going to require the same principles to be successful. You're going to need discipline. You're going to need determination. You're going to need consistency. You're going to need integrity. You're going to need all of these components. And so the reality is that that's what I did. And so the idea of the success blueprint is that if you are successful, because most people aren't sucky in all areas of their lives. Most people have at least one area of their life where they shine, where they excel, whether that's I'm a good employee, or I'm a good partner, or I'm a good business person, or I'm a fitness fanatic. I'm a good uncle, I'm a good brother. There's something in your life, some area in your life where you're excelling, right? And so my thing is that if you look at the things that made you successful in this particular area of your life, and you apply those same traits, qualities, and characteristics to the area of your life that you're struggling in, you will find success in that new area as well. It's just perspective. People say, I'm not motivated, but yes, you are, because every morning you wake up and you go to a job and you work. What is it? Well, they pay me. Well, that's what you're motivated by. You at that point in time, you're motivated by the money. And so it isn't a question of motivation. It's finding the thing that motivates you to get up every day and do the things that are necessary for you to get what it is that you want. You don't feel like going to work every day, but you wake up and you go and you perform, because why? You want the money.
Yeah. Ethan, I want to talk. So I want to get into lifestyle, because we've been talking about that, but we're going to switch gears and talk about the next lifestyle in a moment. But let's talk about this acronym you and I touched on before, and I remember it having such a powerful effect on me then. I'm only reminded about how impacted I was by it then, and refreshed about it now. There's this acronym. Remember that acronym, SIR?
Yes, sir. Let the people know what that is.
You gotta let the people know what that is. It's been a minute. Go ahead, Ethan. Tell us about SIR.
SIR. Now, I remember, boy, Matt, you're gonna have to help me out with this one.
Yeah. But it had such a powerful effect on me, and I'm looking through our conversation together, and I don't know if I if I have it in any of the posts, what this mean. We'd have to listen to that, and there's probably a plug to
Yeah,
that
we got to
that
listen to that
podcast.
because the thing is that every year, Matt, and this is something that I attribute my success to, and across all areas as well. Every year I come up with a mantra, right? And so, sir, at that time was my mantra, and I really, and they served me for that time. But like now, my own for 2021 is do the work, right? Like you just, regardless of what it is do the work. And so, I come up with these things because every great campaign needs a slogan, right? Yes. Every great army, every great military needs a call to action. They need that thing that we can charge, right? And that's what gets me fired up. So every year, some people do resolutions, some people do vision boards. I do a combination of all, but I come up with what is my mantra this year? What is that thing that's going to guide me and remind me to stay on target? And this year it's do the work. And that's regardless of whether you're in business, you got to do the work. Whether you're working for somebody, you got to do the work. Whether you're in a relationship and you want it to be the best one, you got to do the work. Whether you want to lose some weight, you got to do the work. No matter what it is that you got to do, you got to do the work. And so with Sir, like I said, that was something that I came up with at that time to serve me for that time. Absolutely. But this year is definitely a do the work, man.
Do the work. Do the work. Well, let's switch gears for a moment, and then let's talk about Lifestyles. Your company that you started really is a means to help you in production and produce content. Let's switch gears and talk about that company.
All right. Well, Lifestyles Digital Media Group is actually a company that we formalized back in 2019, early 2019. And the thing is that I was always doing content creation for my company, Elite Wellness Solutions. And we would always do like internal marketing campaigns and internal content creation for our clients. So if we had a big client who, of course, to get the message out, of the program so that we could have higher success rates and just inform their employees and management about the program. So this was something that we were doing for years internally. And, I did it for my wife's brand, Bowflex Barbie, my personal brand, EQ, my partner's brand, NLS Global. And what happened was that people were seeing the stuff. They were saying, okay, well, Quant, who's doing your stuff? Because y'all are so consistent, consistently producing high quality work, right? So who does all your content? And so I said, well, we do that ourselves. We do everything in-house. And so, of course, some people said, I want to know if you guys can do it for me and this, that, and next. So I said, what, let me formalize this because I see the potential there. Because really, Lifestyle Digital Media Group at its core is just a vehicle to help you as a business person, as an influencer, as a brand to get your message out, whatever the message is. And that's what we are very, very good at. And so even if you look at our tagline, it's get seen, be heard, make an impact, because everybody has a message to share with somebody in the hopes of making some sort of impact. And that's what we really help our clients do. So of course, we still handle all of our internal stuff. We've opened it up. We've worked with, medical professionals. We've worked with individual personal brands. We've worked with teachers, and we facilitate a wide range of video and photo content for our clients. And I mean, I love it because it really combines, like I said, I've been a hobbyist of photography and filmmaking for years, but I really love it. And so it gives me another opportunity to combine another one of my passions, which is film and photography, with business. And so if you look at my three passions is fitness, health and fitness, business, and media. And that's what I do. And so Lifestyles Digital Media Group, we work with individual brands. We also produce the #1 health and fitness show in the country called Let's Move for Bowflex Barbie, which is the first show of its kind in the country. And so we produce that. And so that combines my missions of wanting to get the information and my message out about healthy lifestyles, with my love for media and of course my love for business, because you know when you're dealing with those big companies, boy, you got to have your big boy business pants on.
Of course.
And so that gives me an opportunity to really flex, pun intended, on all areas of the things that I'm passionate about.
Certainly. So again, the demographic here is an individual who is looking to excel at their craft. And so I see two kinds of people watching this: either a professional that runs or is in management at a company, or an employee who wants to climb up the corporate ladder. How should both of those people be using digital media?
Oh, everybody. I mean, right now, more than any other time in history, content is king. Content has always been king, right? But video content especially. And what I try to let people know is, when we get this idea about branding, right? Or a brand is a company, or if you're a business owner, you're a brand. But the reality is everybody is a brand. Your personal brand is what you are known for. And so if you're an employee who wants to climb the corporate ladder, yeah, definitely you want to be utilizing video content. Everybody has something to share that somebody else, once listening or once receive it, can benefit from. And so I tell people there are two types of content. You can either create content, which is something that a lot of creatives do. They come up with really fun skits and they're funny and this, that, and next. And I'm not really that guy. But another great piece of content that people miss out on is documenting. If you document your journey and you share your journey, so even if you're an employee in an entry-level job and you have aspirations of becoming CEO, your content that you share could be your process and your journey of climbing this ladder. This is what I'm doing. And what I find is that any content is good. Quality content, of course, is better. Consistent quality content is best. And so you want to be able to if you're a security guard at some place and you say, okay, well, I want to know how I could aspire or how I could do more. But my life isn't interesting. But maybe you could document about being a security guard and the people that you come into contact with and what's your strategy. And yeah, I'm a security guard by day, but by night I'm studying towards this, or I'm improving myself in this area, or I'm in the gym because I want to be a big buff security guard. So it's like everybody's life is interesting to somebody because you are a unique being. And so I strongly encourage, regardless of whether you're a business owner, an employee, a professional, a laborer, everybody should be producing content if you want to excel. If you really want to get your message out there and make an impact and grow, you want to be producing quality, consistent content. Yeah.
Well, listen, I always enjoy conversations with Ethan. So insightful, so intelligent. And super excited about his journey. I got to consult with Lifestyles Media Group recently is about our brand and what we do to get seen, make an impact. And what was the next one? The next one, Ethan. The next
get
one.
seen, be heard, and make an impact.
There we go. And
was
so,
that?
So this is linked up on LinkedIn is my effort to do that. We believe that we have one of the greatest agencies in Nassau, Bahamas, and we need to convey that message. It's one thing to be great or aspire to greatness, but it's another thing to let people know that. And so, Ethan's company and his mission, follow him online to follow his journey. Ethan, give us your handles online. Ethan Quant on Instagram, but where else are you?
Yeah. Well, I'm primarily on Instagram, but all of my handles on social media is Ethan Quant. If you want to check out Lifestyles Digital Media Group on Instagram, it's Lifestyles DMG. on Instagram. But yeah, you hit up, you most likely get me on Instagram before you get me anywhere else.
Yeah.
But feel free to reach out and let's shoot the breeze, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So Ethan, again, thanks for your time spending with me this morning. I know you got a busy day, and so we really, really appreciate you hanging out. So this has been another episode of Linked Up on LinkedIn. I'm Matt Sweeting, your host. Have a great day.
Ethan Quant here. You've been watching Linked Up on LinkedIn.